Hey guys, welcome to this very special edition of the podcast, World Awakenings, a fast track to enlightenment. I am, of course, your host, Carl Gruber. Now, when I started doing this show in June 2018, the mission of this show was, and still is, to explore all avenues of spirituality, metaphysics, and all forms of enlightenment. A natural extension of the show was to have guests on who are active trance channels for etheric beings, ascended masters, angelic guides and teachers and guardians of Earth from other galaxies, all of which exist outside of and are invisible to those of us who reside in the 3D realm. So, I present this show, The Best of Channeling on World Awakenings, for your enjoyment and contemplation. So let's dive into this contemplation of these 14 shows in which some of the most well-known and not so well-known etheric beings came to chat with us right here on World Awakenings.
This is World Awakenings, the fast track to enlightenment with your host, Carl Gruber. World Awakenings is a podcast dedicated to opening your mind, your heart, and your eyes to the fact that the world's population is now, more than ever, awakening to all things spiritual, metaphysical, and enlightening, and just how they play an all-important role in our daily life. So join Carl on this enlightening experience as he interviews metaphysical and spiritual experts to discuss, debate, and delve deeply into the hows and whys of this worldwide awakening.
My very first channel that I had on an episode of my show came in episode number 27, and there's actually two channels. One being my personal mentor and teacher, Christy Whitman, who is now the channel for a group of ascended masters called the Council. She appeared on the show with another being channeled through a young lady named Christina Hill, and that being is a 12th dimensional being from the Sirius B galaxy by the name of Othello. There is some phenomenal wisdom of the ages on this show. I'm glad to present to you a quick abbreviated version of channeling with the Council and Othello.
We are here. Hello, dear one. Thank you for inviting us to be with you in this configuration. We're always delighted to hook if we had arms, to hook up with Othello, our friend.
Syrian blue light to you, Council, and Christy, the personality, and Carl, your soul and spirit, and to everyone listening, Syrian blue ray light.
Thank you, my friends. We are beyond blessed to have you join us here today. So grateful that you have decided to come and talk to us and help humanity here. I truly believe that the people that will benefit from watching and listening to our chat today is going to be beyond human understanding, perhaps some of your holographic understanding. You know a little better than we do, but I'm not going to mess around. I do have a couple questions that we would like to, so that we could have a nice discussion. Of course, now during the crisis throughout the entire world right now, many call it the pandemic. I call it the fear-demic, but my friend Maureen Muldoon from my last episode calls it the love-demic. How do we move right now? How can humanity move from fear into love?
Othello, do you want to talk first?
Thank you for passing the baton to us, and we shall pass it back to you. Moving from fear into love. Notice that when Othello speaks, it's an activation that you can actively feel, not just words. Allow yourself to feel the field of low frequency, the fear. It's okay. It's okay to sit with the fear. And now allow yourself to feel love. Love. Maybe an image will arise as we say the word love. That vibration is quite different. To answer your question, simply feel more love throughout your day. Attune to love. Do all that you can to build an atmosphere of love, first with the self, your personality, your human self. And then this love will spread out. It doesn't mean that fear energy won't arise. The fear will come. Yes, it will. The fear is here to help us to move up, to float upwards towards love. We can sit with the fear. We can recognize it. We don't need to run. You don't need to run. You're all safe. It is safe. It is safe to be alive in this human experience. Please note that as you sit with the fear and you move into love energy, you may have to do this often throughout your day. Eventually, you will attune to love frequency, and there are many helpers, celestial beings that are helping you to do this. Alone doesn't exist. You know this. Now you're in the company of friends, outer galactic beings, masters that can help you with an aerial view. So listen and feel as you are moving now into the frequency of love. Divine counsel, what can you share?
We do take the baton, and we are grateful for the foundation that you just expressed, and more importantly, the healing energy and the frequency that was activated in everyone. So thank you, dear Atella. We bring it down to that human experience. You all are energy, and there are ways that you process or don't energy. And if you really know who you are as a vessel of light, of a really a conduit of light, of the divine that is breathing each one of you, and you attune to exactly what Adela was saying, that love, that adoration, that is the flow of love from you to you. And you learn how to master your energy. Fear is an energy. Fear is a thought. Fear is an emotion. It is an energetic vibration. In fear is a choice. You all have been given a power, and this power, you have many powers. This one power that starts all the powers to ignite, like keys in a vault that just start the whole entire process, is free will. Free will and choice. And you have the choice to stay in the energy, the thought form, the words you speak, the emotions of fear, or you can move in the direction of what you want to experience and what you want to create. And it starts with your third eye. It starts with your faith portal. You cannot not have faith in something. You're either having faith in the doom and gloom of what the news and social media and the neighbors and everybody else, you're either having faith in the ending of the world or the catastrophic things that could happen, or you're having faith in the divine that is beyond form, that is beyond reasoning, that is beyond logic, that is life, and that is always on your side looking out for you. And there is your moment as human being in that choicefulness of where to put your focus.
Well, it took me to episode 44 to have another channel on, and this was a woman named Carol Collins, known as the Pittsburgh Medium. Now, Carol is a trance channel for a number of etheric ascended masters and angelic beings, including Seth, Yeshua, Jesus, James, and a collective known as the I Am. This talk with her contains some of the best information you will ever receive on the law of attraction, A Course in Miracles, and information from the quantum realm on how to live, love, awaken, enjoy, and prosper in our 3D world of density and form.
We are here and we are the I Am. We speak to this woman, Carol, the Pittsburgh Medium, and we just want to say well done and thank you both, because this is an opportunity for not only source beings, those that are, A-R-E period, but for the ascended ones that are completed with their learning. We are the teachers in the non-physical. What does that mean? So very briefly, our own bio, if you don't mind, is that we have nothing more to learn. We just do and do and do and do. We are the teachers of the guides. Those of you that know that you have a guru in spirit, we are the teachers that teach that guru how to do what gurus do in the non-physical. We are pleased to be here. The name that we have given to many, they're various. We are an entity, a collective of beings, and we are now speaking as one, as the I Am. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here. And we're ready for whatever it is that you throw at us. Where would you like to begin? Yeah, we are the I Am, and we're a collective of beings that speak through Carol. But we are the ascended ones, and we are also the ones that speak through many others. The guides, Abraham, Yeshua, I Am, many others are the energies of those that have risen up, have we like to say the grand poobah. We like to make it fun. We just say, those that are the teachers, capital T for teachers. And we say the same. We all say the same. We are in perfect agreement with each other because there is nothing. There is nothing in the non-physical dimension that includes discord. And so we don't have a different opinion. We have different experiences, but we don't have a different opinion. We do teach on many things. Now, law of attraction, otherwise known as law of creating, that thing that's coming at you. Well, it's a human-born law. And that law simply says, whatever I think about, I get. Now, we add a little bit to it. We say, whatever you think about, you get, but whatever you love upon, you get faster. So if you love sadness, you're going to get things that feel sad. But if you love happy, you're going to get things that feel happy. And whenever you're happy, that's when the mind slows down. It softens. It stops reaching for things. And when it slows down, you have a received thought. And that's the good idea that shows up. That's what we mean by there's no efforting, just stay happy. When you're happy, ask something of us and then stay happy. And when your mind is ready for it, when it's just in that right position, that sweet spot, we slip the memo. And the mind says, oh, thank you. I'll give that to my person. Appreciate it. And then the human being has a great idea. Now, that great idea sometimes is keeping you in a good mood because we need the gap to open a little bit more. So we might give you a message that says, go vacuum. You love vacuuming. You love vacuuming. And when you vacuum, the mind softens and that gap opens a little more, a little more, a little more, a little more. And sooner or later, you get the thing that you were asking for. But in addition, you're getting all kinds of experiences, people and situations and ideas that contribute to that thing that you're wanting.
Now, in episode number 47, I featured Clear Trance Channel Ethera, who I met during a weekend-long spiritual retreat. Now, for the last 30 years, she has flown under the radar as a self-taught channel for ascended master teachers, Tam, Yeshua, the Council, Viwamas, and more. Now, this show was Ethera's first ever coming out party as a channel, and I think you will enjoy what she has to say and her friends.
Good evening to you. We're so glad to be with you. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I am doing great. And Tam, I had the pleasure of speaking with you and listening to you teach when we were together down in Florida. And I am so excited to have this global platform for you to now be on and reach people around the world through this beautiful lady Ethera. Thank you for being here.
Oh, you're so welcome. And when you say global, that is so beautiful because we see that as an extension of not only consciousness, but love and consideration and friendship around the world. So that global becomes very close together to be like a home. And that's what we want to bring through is a lot more home energy, home on the range, if you will. And we tell you that things are starting to speed up in your world because you're ready for it. Sometimes we hear Ethera as well as others say, oh my goodness, everything is going so fast, so fast, so fast. But what's happening is while it's speeding up, you're also manifesting what you would like to create. Just like we set this up so we could have this conversation with you. You might believe it was all you, but it wasn't all you. It was us as well. We've been planning on it for since she left Florida. And it was getting time for her, just like you said, to be out in the public, ready to face the audience. Audience is just another way for saying people, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well,
we love your smile, by the way.
Thank you. Even as I sit out here in the cosmos, right?
Oh, we love the cosmos. And we love being in the same room with you. And we want to tell you that your energy and our energy are together blending as well right now.
Yeah, I love that too. And by the way, Tam, I didn't know you were Scottish or Irish. I love your accent.
Well, I am Irish from that lifetime. And the reason I came through Ethera that way was because she was introduced to me by a woman who was also a channel. And she knew me as her grandfather from over 100 years ago. And so for the fun of it, this one said to Ethera, why don't you go home and channel Tam? And she was like, but I channel Viwamas and I channel the masters. Who's this Tam? Well, he was my grandfather about 100 years ago. Oh, really? All right. So she went home and she started channeling me. And to make sure that she knew it was me, it made it so her tongue got really thick with the brogue. And now the brogue is here. That doesn't mean I have to use brogue. I can talk like this anytime I want. But it's comforting to her. Yes. And a lot of times for channels, when the names come through or when the masters come through, what happens is we create a relationship with them, a friendship. We want to call ourselves what's called the non-physical friends or non-physical guides, because non-physical is the most important thing you can connect with humanity now. Everybody needs to know that they're not alone anymore. There's been so many that have felt so alone, and you talk about the cosmos, so alone in the cosmos, but what about here in the house? What about feeling like there's no one listening to you? That is what we, the council, and we introduce ourselves now, is wanting to be able to share with the rest of the world that you are heard, that you are understood, and we are listening. We are listening when you feel that you're alone, when you feel that you're separated, when you feel that you have no one to count on. Know that there is that still small voice in you, but that still small voice is growing larger and louder now.
Recorded in December 2021, I had a chance to meet and talk with one-on-one with one of the world's more well-known channels, Jacques Purcell. Jacques has channeled a non-physical entity known as Lazarus since 1974, almost 50 years. Now, Lazarus describes himself as a spark of consciousness beyond our physical and causal planes. Here's a great example of the wisdom of Lazarus.
The 21st century is the century of what we call magicians.
Mm.
It's the century of magic and magicians, not science and technicians, but magic and magicians. It is a century that reaches beyond the linear of logic and reason, not abandoning either, but stretching beyond the limits into the unimaginable, into the unbelievable, into the unfathomable. And you're seeing it, what's happening in technology these days. The internet, linear, but now bursting into all kinds of other directions. Yes, and a chaos is ensuing, a horrible chaos in many ways, with the logarithms that are developing and causing people to move into their separate camps, separate positions, etc. Yes, a horrible sense of isolation, a horrible sense of this breaking apart, of this polarization, as it were. It's a chaos that's quite ugly and quite painful, but out of that chaos, in time, will come something quite amazing. Because in the seeds of that, lost often in the intricacy and in the insanity of what seems the insanity of that chaos, there are new ideas. And there are those who are realizing we've got, like you have put it, there's got to be something better than this. There's got to be another way here. There's got to be another answer here. And they're innovating, not just creating, but innovating new ideas, new concepts, new leaps in consciousness, not necessarily in technology, but in creativity that will, out of which a new technology will emerge. Not a new logic and reason, but a new creativity, a new way of being, out of which change will emerge. And once that change emerges, as it emerges, step by step by step, new chaos, but a different kind of chaos. A chaos of growing, a chaos of becoming new, a chaos of discovering greater expressions of love and of beauty and of healing and of caring and of, oh yeah, that bugaboo called responsibility. A new level to be responsible, not the isolating, fierce individuality that is currently raging in your world. It's my life and my reality, and nobody can tell me what to do. Nobody can make me cooperate with anybody. I get to do it all my own, etc. And I don't have to give or care about anybody else. I just take care of myself. Fierce in my individuality. There is this energy coming that's beginning to unfold of not independency, not dependency or total independency, but interdependency, where I take responsibility for me so that I can share with you. I become more of who I am, so I can reach out to help you become more of you. Interdependency. And it's beginning. Wow, what's that? I don't know what that is. Most people don't, but there are a few that can get, yeah, I can become strong. I can become more. I can be responsible for what I create. And part of what I'm creating is you in my reality. Part of what I am creating is you needing help. So I can be stronger, so I can help you. And you can be stronger so that you can help me. And we can be interdependent. Not you dependent on me or me dependent on you, but us depending on each other, working together in synergy, where we each contribute what we have to give. What do I have to give? Well, I better figure that out. I better learn who I am. I better take responsibility for the life that I'm living and the being that the person I'm being. I better take responsibility for the power that I have. I better take responsibility so that I know who I am, so that I can step forth to participate with you. And you figure out who you are so that you can step forth and participate with me, and we can work together.
In this episode, number 63 of World Awakenings, I got to speak with Julie Smith, who channels the Ascended Master Seth. And yes, that's the same Seth that was channeled by Jane Roberts back in the 1970s. And she also channels Ashtar, the commander of the Galactic Light Force that hovers over and watches over Earth and its inhabitants. Both Seth and Ashtar offer otherworldly advice of love, light, and truth that will help you awaken from the darkness and the chaos that rules this world.
Good morning, Carl. This is Seth. Just for sake of interest, I am an Ascended Master. Ascended Masters are beings, humans who have had lives on Earth, and they have ascended out of their physical cycle into spirit, as we all do whenever anybody passes. But if their consciousness has not elevated to a state where they no longer need to come back to Earth to learn life lessons, then they are still in the cycle of reincarnating. But now I could come back, and I may choose to do that, just as Saint Germain did. He had many lives after he ascended to come back and actually sow seeds for this great time, because Saint Germain is the Lord of the new and great golden age of Aquarius. So I could, but at this point, I'm very happy doing what I'm doing. Angels are created as angels, mostly. There were two that I know of. I think there are more coming in to experience life as a human, so that they can be more effective in helping people. But Metatron and Sandalphon were two that each had one single life on Earth. Other than that, most angels remain in the angelic realm and do their work from there. So that is the difference between Ascended Masters and Archangels. We're all light beings, though, because we are all one, right? Made of the same energy, just in different forms with different intentions that changes the result that you feel. Carl, this is Ashtar. How are you, dear friend?
Oh my gosh, I'm just so excited to have you back here with us. And Ashtar, the commander of the Starfleet watching over Earth. Ashtar, if I have your title wrong, if you'd be so kind to tell us what exactly is your job and what is your home galaxy and planet, and why are the people of the universe so interested in what's happening here on Earth? I know I just threw a lot at you, but we're excited to have you here. Thank you, Ashtar.
Yes, my full name is Ashtar Sharan, but I prefer just to be called Ashtar. And I am the commander of the Galactic Federation of Light Fleet. So I have a huge starship that is orbiting your planet and has been here for years. And many, many smaller ships that some come up and down to the planet. There are many light beings, your star family, walking amongst you, some looking as humans, and some lucky ones who are in accepting areas are able to look more like themselves. And we have been here for a time, and we are you from your future, because we have seen what has been going on planet Earth. And if things do not change, humans will be extinct in 60 years. And that would mean a lot of us would just disappear too. So, we wouldn't go on to have this wondrous life. I mean, many would, because not all beings are incarnated. But there would be some that would just, through the devastation of it, would choose not to incarnate again. And so the life cycles wouldn't continue to bring us where we are today. So we come here to help you out of the love of our hearts, because you are our brothers and sisters. And to us, it is so horrific what is being done to you on the planet that we could do nothing but come and help. But it is a win-win-win, because of course we also want to help you so that the human race can continue, move into the fifth dimension and carry on to be us, continue the lifetimes as they should. So, and it is all happening all at once, right here, right now. And everybody who is on the planet chose to be here.
Now, in episode number 68 of the World Awakening Show, one of the most amazing and astounding guests I have ever had, and one of my favorites, Athela, who is channeled by Christina Hill. Athela is a 12th dimensional master teacher from Sirius B, a binary star system only 8.6 light years from Earth. Now, since 2015, Athela has been channeled here on Earth by Christina. She's even channeled Athela, yes, on stage at Carnegie Hall. Amazing. Athela's advice to you is to let the blue ray light shine in.
Athela. Greetings, Carl, and greetings to all of you who are receiving the vibration and tones of blue ray light.
We're told that you are Sirian being, which is from the binary star system Sirius B. Now, since it's a star system and stars, at least the environment as we know it, is hostile to bodies, does this mean that all beings that live in Sirius B exist in non-physical form?
Correction. Sirius B has evolved and is now a satellite. It's to be noted that we have a dummy system. What I mean here is we are using the star seeds as a disguise. The one that you can see through telescope, for example. The one that the Dogon tribes had discovered so long ago in human time. That is now a fake. It's like for show, it's a dummy. It's just hanging out there. We decided to branch out and to create a satellite, one that we could move around in and be visible for human eyes. When the human ocular sockets see, or the third eye senses Sirian light, it begins to evolve the being. And human beings, they are in need of assistance. A type of ambulatory assistance, actually. And so we have developed the satellite to help humans along, bit by bit, slowly integrating blue ray light onto the planet. And whilst you had mentioned non-physical, we are all encompassing blue ray plasma. So the form of Athela avatar and the blue ray beings is plasma. Blue ray plasma, something like gel or goo that you would hold in your hands. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
The avatar is plasma so that you can find a friendly image to focus upon. Right now, that's all that humans are ready for. In our book, which is the Sirian Handbook, you can find this on Amazon. It suggests in the very beginning that the world of form, the hologram that you are all experiencing, is like Jello. And while this may seem childlike to say, it's a good reference pointing towards the curvature of the hologram. There is a curved line. It's flexible. It's not static or dense or hard. You are living in a hologram that you can shape, sculpt, mold like Jello. And the forms, they wiggle around, they change. The forms in your world are constantly jiggling, dissolving altogether, moving themselves in accordance to the dance of your consciousness, what you hold inwardly, that is. Now, I know that many of you already know this. How many of you are living this? If you truly knew that your world around you is like Jello, Wouldn't you go and create instantly all the form facets that you like, that appeal to you? Wouldn't you address the parts that are sticky or falling off, that don't seem to work or fit well with who you are? Yes, you would shape immediately exactly what you would like, and you would set it solid. You would also desire to learn more about higher intelligences, and learning from masters, becoming more like the masters, requires then new equipment. I am speaking to the physical body temple, of course. This is where Syrians are happy to come in and play with all of you. A new body temple, restored, renewed, flexible, youthful, ever youthing, eternal.
I have found that you are really involved with dolphins. And why are dolphins so important in your teachings and communications in the work with humans?
Oh, the dolphins. The teachers of Sirius B. Now you'll see that as you hear those sounds, there is something curious opening within you. Perhaps you find it like a prism of light. Maybe it's just a tickle or a curiosity. Oh, what a funny sound the fellow makes. The dolphins contain the energy through the eye of what is potential, divine potential for humans. We can all be like dolphins. That's why they're here. The dolphins originated from Sirius B, and now they swim around in the oceans here, teaching human beings how to be. Now the dolphins, they will teach you how to float. That's very important, to know how to float without getting swept away by the great ocean of forms. The dolphins will teach you how to use your melon and your blowhole. Releasing. The dolphin teachers teach us how to channel through their teeth, because through their teeth they channel energy. The sonar from their melon goes down into their teeth and they communicate. Sound vibrates inside their mouth. Most humans have had an experience where they have channeled, whether they know it or not. Each human being is capable of channeling, just like the dolphins. So we have the teeth and the tongue that are also teaching humans. And there are many other aspects to the dolphin that humans can mirror or copy. But well, these are again just words. You go and you are with wild dolphins. Wild dolphins will show you how to be. They're not caught up in their problems. Their thinking has not taken over their body. They have not polluted the waters of the ocean with thought. They are being, they are gliding. Sometimes they're fighting. They're leaping. They're stretching. They're sleeping. I am in no way suggesting that you, as a race, you or Carl, all of you are becoming less intelligent. It's rather the opposite. Being is of a higher intelligent mark. The being state is what the dolphins bring to humans.
Episode number 75 is yet another show that will completely blow your mind as we talk with Sananda Christ, who has accepted an amazing mission as a voice of enlightenment and universal understanding as a member of the Earth's Council of Light, a galactic ambassador for the Pleiadians, Telos ambassador, and a galactic nation ambassador as a communications officer. Plus, she is a multi-dimensional healer and starseed activator. Sananda is yet another example of how the residents from other galaxies and planets have heavily focused on the happenings and people of Earth.
Kitupo koya ta simo ya na moyi na ta ya la boyi ya kia na mohoyi ya ta ya wa kaya wala wa ya I kia ta hu shiki ni mo koya tebakia. That is the council, the Star Council, making their presence known. Kaya wana moyi ni ya tapo koshia ta.
Well, that is awesome. Thank you, Star Council. And just to let the viewers and listeners know that our Pleiadian friends that come through Sananda, and they do what they call light speak.
So I have to tell the audience, sometimes the information is going to come through in light language. This is what they want me to do. This is because what it does is going to actually, it's going to be like an activation for you. And I'm already seeing it in some of the heart spaces. It's being you're being activated. Okay, and this is about remembrance. And what they're saying is that they used to once walk those ancient lands, the grounds of those places. They were very much a part of the civilization and the technology that was taking place. And this is about us coming back to those times of remembrance. So we may bring forward that knowledge and information that will help us in our ascension. These are very valuable information that we have forgotten. That is needing and wanting to come forward. And it's very important in our evolution along with Earth's evolution.
Can we call a Pleiadian or a Syrian an angel?
Yeah, you could call him an angel.
So that certainly doesn't play into the particular perspective of spirituality that most people understand. They just think it's God and there's heaven,
Yeah. There's so much that we don't know. I mean, I can only talk about my perception and what the information I receive is. They are like angels. I see them as angels. I call to them. I ask them for help. But at the same time, I'm also calling to Mary Magdalene and Yeshua, Saint Germain, the Ascended Masters, Archangel Michael. They all are here to help us. And in it itself, we have multidimensional aspects of ourselves that are, I have a couple angel, I have an archangel aspect, I have a seraphim aspect, I have an Atlantean priestess aspect. And part of this lifetime is calling all of those aspects into us to work with us during this lifetime. And that, a lot of people I know, they're like, I want that. But sometimes it will come, and it will come in your timing. A lot of people get anxious. They want it all, like, oh, give me, but it will come. It will come in your timing. So it's just, I think we get so stuck in thinking we're this human person when we're not. We're a multidimensional being. So there's more than one of us, more of aspects that we're working on and we can call on for our help. And most importantly, call on our higher self for help. We forget to do that.
Episode number 77 featured Tracy Mahan, a clear channel for Daniel, the Arcturian, and the Imperial Council. For the past 3 decades, she has dedicated herself to her personal path of spiritual and psychic development. Her natural gifts have enabled her to connect with guides, angels, ascended masters, and the spiritual council. So with all of your talents and abilities, we mentioned that you are now a channel for an Arcturian named Daniel, and also the Arcturian Imperial Council. How did that come about, and how did you connect with them?
So, like I said, it was my training for QHHT. I had gone to Eureka Springs, Arkansas for my level 2 training. And that picture right there is an Arcturian. I put it there so that I can point that out to people because not everybody knows what one looks like. So I went for my level 2 training and went through that course. And at the end of it, Julia wanted us to see what it would be like if someone started channeling a being in a session, because it happens a lot. And so she brought somebody she knew would go into that channel. And he brought forward the Octurians, and I'm sitting there the whole time just twitching and shaking, going, what the heck's happening to me? I'm like, why is this happening? And you know that feeling you get when you're like just shaky and fluttery. And the whole time he was in that channel, that was happening. And then I went home, and you do a new level of something, you want to try it out. So I did a trade with a friend, and as soon as I tipped my chair back, here comes Daniel. That was the first time I knew that I was channeling. And he started speaking through me and giving me a tour of all these different planetary systems, and like all excited to show me all these things. And and he was just taking me to all these different levels. And of all the sessions I don't have recorded, I don't have that one recorded. And it's just like, man, I wish I had to hit record on that.
You know it was going to happen.
Yeah, I had no idea it was going to happen. And so, so I had an incredible experience with that. And so then I never knew if it was going to happen again, right? And, it happened that one time. And then I had a friend that was texting or messaging that she was having a hard time, and difficult things were going on, very emotional stuff. And I said, well, I have a couple minutes. Can we just spend some time on the phone, and let's see if we can talk it out, so that you can clear this, so that you're not carrying it all day. So she gets on the phone with me, and I start talking to her. Next thing I know, here comes Daniel, and he took her on this whole journey. And at the end of it, she said, what do you call that? I said, I don't know. That's never happened before. And she goes, I think you should call that an ascension session. And that's how that started. And so I do sessions where, you can go on a journey with Daniel. So I'll go get Daniel, and I'll see you at the other end of that. And of course, he may have messages for you, so that'll be fun too. And sometimes he pulls in the audience, even though we're pre-recording, he will pull in the audience that's going to be listening. So that's exciting too. So we'll see if there's anything there. We're very, very excited to be here with you, and to be able to bring the cosmos of energy into this beautiful transmission that we're going to be doing today with you. And you do have an activation that is waiting for you as well. We see it as a white light thread that comes down through the crown chakra right here at the top of the head. It wants to come in and bring you into a new connection for yourself. You already connect with many of your star system beings. You may not be aware of all of them because it is so natural for you. You had talked about the hypnosis. You had talked about bringing people into the higher self. And what we want to tell people at this point, there is no more veil between you and your higher self. And so you're communicating with that all the time. The hypnosis helps you to relax into that, and get out of your own way, move the critical mind out of that space so that you can get into the connection. And soon everyone will be speaking from that higher self and a more consistent thread of communication. And that is when you're going to be experiencing more of that fifth dimension or new earth that everyone speaks of. And when you connect to that higher self and you move that thread through you as your voice and as your compassion, as your love, as your expansion of self.
For episode number 85, I found an amazing young lady from England, Leanne Rose, who is now being the channel for some of our multi-dimensional friends known as the Galactic Collective. Leanne is one of the younger channels I have encountered, and the Galactic Collective's entry into her physical realm is pretty unique. Leanne is now also a teacher of what she calls multi-dimensional manifestation via the sixth dimension. Tell us more about this spontaneous experience. What was the situation there? How'd that come about?
Yeah, so I was meditating. So I'd been meditating for a little while on and off. I kind of got into spirituality via yoga. I was trying to love my body a little bit more. And so I was kind of doing it through movement practices. And I was a rubbish meditator. I was saying this to friends a while, but I was so rubbish. I kept falling asleep all the time. And I would judge myself quite harshly for not being able to do those things. But this particular day, I was just attempting to meditate, and all of a sudden, I had this bizarre sensation. My eyes flew open, but it wasn't me opening them, if that makes sense. I just had this sensation of them opening, and they were looking. So I had this sensation that my consciousness had moved to the back of my head, and there was something else looking out of my eyes, which is a little bit strange.
Yeah.
But I actually felt really, really peaceful. And I almost had it was like a quiet sense of, now I have this language for it. I'm now sensing, it was like a quiet sense of internal power, connection to this beautiful energy of presence, just huge amounts of presence in a way I'd never ever experienced before. And then as quickly as it came, it went. And I was left thinking, what was that? I've had no idea to describe what that was. And then every once in a while after that, I would get this like a pulsing sensation in my third eye, in my forehead. And it was like this huge buildup of pressure, so much so that at one point I was like, is my head going to explode? It felt so much, it felt like so much pressure building up. And then that sensation will come over me again of this being looking out of my eyes and just holding me in this energy of real presence. And after a little while, I ended up speaking to it was a lady that channels another entity called Zach, who is amazing, and people should definitely check them out. But he told me, what you're doing is channeling, and you're just not aware that that's what it is that you're doing. So just to name for people that aren't familiar with my style of trance channeling, when they come through with a bizarre noise. It's the only way that we can make the connection. They call it kind of like a verbal handshake. It's how I help them make the bridge into my body. Also, they call me the girl. So if you hear them referring to the girl, that's me that they're talking about. Okay. A lot of people have been like, that's a bit of a patronizing term, but they assure me it's one of endearment.
All right, so awesome. So we're about to meet her friends, the Galactic Collective.
Hello, dear soul.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you very much, dear soul, for giving us a platform to spread our message abroad.
Well, I'm so grateful to have you here. What a pleasure and an honor to have you come through to talk to us. And I'm really curious, and of course I'll ask like 87 million questions. So I hope you're patient with me.
Of course, dear soul.
Why did you come up with the term Galactic Collective, and what a collective are you? Where are you from?
We are an interdimensional collective consciousness, always growing, always changing. We represent a galactic council that is very much about helping the earth to ascend to new levels of consciousness. You can think of us as non-physical entities that are somewhat familiar with human experiences. Some of our individuals, and we use this term loosely, but some individual pieces of our collective consciousness have been human in past lives. Some very much scattered across the stars. And so not from any individual piece of the cosmos, dear soul. We represent a much bigger message than something that is just serving one particular species. Reason we chose Galactic Collective had a energetic ring to it that most represents our mission, dear soul. Very galactic in nature, but also somewhat grounded, as we are helping the girl to bridge the gap from multidimensional to the human self. And so the word had to ring true with this energy, had to fall off the tongue with a element of magic to it. Also, not very many humans can pronounce it correctly at first, and this gives us a chuckle.
In this episode number 87, we spoke with Kim Vandasanda, who is a channel for the Flower of Love Light Council. Like many channels, she is able to speak in what is called light language, which is the intergalactic tongue used and spoken by many who channel our galactic friends. Here's a great example of light language. Wow, this is just great. And I want to dive right away into what you do now as a cosmic channel, a teacher of love, light, and truth. How did that evolve?
I always could channel, but it was like more the last few years through all the courses and the books that came on my path, I became conscious of it. I know that when I was a child, because a way of my channeling is also through light language and also through singing, because my light language most of the time comes in through singing. I had been doing that for many years, but I thought I'm just singing some Italian song where I don't know the lyrics of, that just somehow is in my mind, but it's not. So one moment I was following a course and my light language was streaming, and then someone said, oh, this is light language. And it opened up something within me. And the more I started to work with it, the more it opened up. But that's also an interesting story, also with my light language. I channeled light language, but in the beginning, my guides keep saying, no, it is for the other person to understand. It's not for you to understand, because I didn't get like messages with it. And the more I started to do it, it's like with everything in your life, take the stepping stone. And when you step on the stepping stone, more is being revealed. Now I get messages. Now I get understanding of what the light language means that comes true. But the beautiful thing about light language is that it passes by your logical mind. So your field relaxes and it goes to your soul. It's like it opens portals within you where more of your essence comes online. But it's not like, because when we channel with words, sometimes our logical mind can think something of it and then blocks your whole field. Like, oh no, this is not truth, or this is not what is happening. So then your body freezes, you go into fight, flight, freeze, and then the flow stops. But with light language, you can't understand. It's just like a beautiful lullaby that your soul understands, and it just opens, in a soft way, opens things.
Well, so this is amazing. We understand that Kim is the channel for some multi-dimensional beings who call themselves the Flower of Love Council. Would it be possible to bring them in for a little bit and we can chat with them?
Yes, of course. Yeah, it's more like they bring you on a journey. So we'll see what they open up. So, okay, I will tune in. We are the Flower of Love Council, and we want to bring forth some codes of love to awaken a deeper remembering within your being. So for this now moment, we would invite you to just close your eyes and to just embrace yourself as you are now being surrounded by this field of love and light. So you are now being surrounded by these deeper codes of love, nurturing every cell of your body, every part of your being. And there's nothing you have to do. It's just in this now moment, allowing yourself to receive and remembering the light and the love that is within you. And just receive this sacred transmission as your higher self and team of light knows what you need in this now moment. Tumare sumatare sirumare kare su Ave rumare kimachiru vale simachu Tu savedi ma kare saru vale di mata Tu vale same ki mataru male rimasa. Tu save care mare sumare ki. Tu mare ki matare sumate su vale di. Dame kumare si. This journey is all about remembering who you are, remembering the potency that is within you and that invites you to go deep within. Connect to these deeper layers that are within you and embrace yourself with love. Just for a moment now, feel this field of love around you and notice that there is nothing you have to do to receive love. So everywhere in your body and your system, there is the illusion of you needing to be more, needing to do more, needing to step up in a different way to receive. Allow this illusion to be dissolved in this now moment. Ekuma kare kimata. And just feel your body, feel your field, feel how you are centered within yourself and how this blanket of love codes is surrounding you. And there's nothing you have to do, but also notice that the more love you receive, the more you open up.
Episode number 92 features Birgitta Visser, an inspired channel for a collective of light beings, ascended masters, archangels, and galactics. Birgitta is also another channel for the galactics who speak light language. So who are some of these light beings and galactics that speak through you? I know, reading your book that Saint Germain comes through you a lot. Who are some of the other beings?
So there's Archangel Michael, there's the Ascended Master Hilarion, Raphael, Archangel Nathaniel. He talks about light language, actually. The Ascended Master Thoth, Ma'at, Anubis, the Pleiadians.
Yeah.
The Syrians. Actually, the Blu-ray beings are also in there. It's just, it's quite funny, and sometimes it's just like, well, I'm Dutch, right? So I always say I'm a bike messenger between the here and there.
I think you told me earlier you speak some light language sometimes.
Yeah, I do. So they're all different beings that I channel, all different beings, and then there's the Council of Ra as well, and they're very harsh in their wording sometimes. But yes, I'm happy to give a demo if you want.
Yeah, boy, we'd love to. Light language is very, very unique, and it can be very melodic even.
Yes, can. So do we want to put an intent out there? Do we?
Let's put an intention out for, this sounds very generic, but it's needed. Let's support reduction of chaos and more peace for humanity right now. We need it now more than ever in the world.
Yeah, so that's healing, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So healing, peace. Hashimidit Aniani Kakakalia Hanikikit Sisi Anikakalina O Paxisi Alemakakania Uyamakakaini Hashikikila Tata Amakakania Atsisi Hanikatari Uyakakakani Uyamama Ushiminina Uyakakatisima Alimama Papa Yiniya Tisimakalilia. Uya mama iya mama. Ushimini Ushimini akakania mama ya tisi. Haya mama uyi maya. Haya mama uyi mama. Haya mama uyi mama. Haya mama kiki titi ya mama iya. Uya makakakarima.
Wow. That is amazing stuff whenever I hear a light language. Yeah. And you and I talked about this earlier, even though we don't quote understand it, we do perhaps intuitively when we understand what the message is.
Yes.
It's the true, not only international, but intergalactic language. Episode 96 was a chat with England's Linda Green, a natural trance medium and channel for her team of spiritual beings. Now, this group of beings come in multiple personalities through Linda, led by a character named Nick, who has a great sense of humor, yet still imparts meaningful and loving wisdom to all willing to listen and receive. Now, if you love English accents, this show is for you. Well, there's one last question I'd like to ask you. I mean, either you, Linda, or you can bring your team in and answer this question.
Mm-hmm.
You have a website called fusionofoneness.com. Why that name?
Yeah. Right, that name is because the effects of what our... can I say that there? Hello there. Hello dear, it's Agnes. Oh, hello. Well, let us just say, my dear, as the fusion is a beginning of something that opens up into a category of events, then it becomes a oneness, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. That's why we actually assisted Linda in calling it this. Does that make sense, my dear?
It does. And I think for those of us who are in a 3D plane, who we like to consider ourselves light workers, to us, we start to understand that there is no disconnect, that there is only connection of all that is. So fusion or oneness, I think, is a lovely name.
It's good, ain't it, matey? Hello, it's Nicholas.
Hi, Nick.
And it's good to see you, matey. Yeah, it's almost as if there's a part of the process of being within oneness is making the fusion a lot easier to cope with as well. So you can look at it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does
Yeah,
that make sense? Yeah.
it's quite a topic, and always good to have Nick in. Nick, I think Nick and I have the same sense of humor.
Oh yeah, I do like you very much. You know, I've been popping round to your place to see what you've been up to. Yeah, because you are a very delightful man. I think that people really. Oh yes, well let me just say that you have to start off in the morning with something you feel is in your own pathway, because if it wasn't there, you wouldn't be getting up, would you, dear?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Do you understand that?
I appreciate that. Yeah. Well, you know, see, I'm just hanging out here above Earth, so so I'm an observer.
You, my friend, are what I would call is a magnificent specimen of life, and I don't mean that in the way you think. If you like, it's something that I would say is of a magnificent mechanism that you work with in your force of energy, with your wonderful team who link with you, and you've got that energy there that just assists you on every level, and you don't even realize it half the time, but you are always well endowed with that message of love, community within people, love, and the essence of all, and you've always had that there. So we feel very privileged to be able to speak with you, my friend. Can I say that? It's a stimulating process, isn't it, lovey? But it's the right time now for you all to come together, because the more you're together, the more enlightening you can be with yourself and the outer body experiences. All the things that are coming together in the universe now started to open up, haven't they? You know, and it's like there's a time ahead now where it's really going to become so baffling for some people. We need people like yourselves to be able to say to people, it's okay, it's all right, and you can explain why it's going on. Because there's a lot of people out there that are going to be quite frightened by a lot of experiences. Mm-hmm. You know that, and it's like we need now to really come to terms with more of what it is that is actually resonating within you all, and we're helping you all to discard certain sort of frequencies that need to be uncovered and unleashed, because then you can actually process a lot more of what I would say is your own uniqueness and that gift of life, because you've all got that wonderful gift of life that's come into your own forum. And you know, lovey, you've got so much work ahead of you. You're going to need time out soon to have a bit of a break, because there's so much coming up. You're going to really feel as though you're beginning to really take yourself seriously, Carl Kruger, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, you know, I'll be honest. At this point in my life, I would be perfectly happy to be sitting on the beach in Hawaii, drinking beer, looking at girls bikinis. But I've got other purposes that I feel driven to accomplish. You know, but I can still sit on the beach drinking beer, looking at girls. Christy Whitman, channel for a group of ascended masters called The Council, was on my very first show, of course, and that featured a channeled being in which she shared with Christina Hill, channeling Othello. Now, Christy returned to my 100th episode. In this show, the Council expounds on some very deep metaphysical and spiritual principles. This is wisdom of the ages, not to be forgotten, I would say. And let's let our viewers and listeners find out right now, if you would be so kind to bring your friends in the Council. So,
I will.
Folks, get ready for this.
We are here. Hello, dear one. Hello to all of you that are in this field. We are grateful that if your ears are receiving vibration of this voice through the one we call Christy, but the energy of the Council of Light, the Divine Quantum Council of Light, we say hello to you. We are here and you are here. And we are here to serve you in light.
Who is the Council comprised of? Were there any of you previously in human form? And were any of you well known on Earth?
Well, we are the Beatles and Prince and also Michael Jackson. No, we are not. We are ascended masters. We are of the highest that a human can channel into a physical third dimensional body, at least at this point in time. There's always evolvement, but for now, and we are and can connect. We have gathered in and connect in some of the top luminaries that have lived in a human body, such as Wayne Dyer and Louise Hay and Debbie Ford and people of this nature. We have called in them. We can connect with, we are not, we will say this now, we are not, but we have friends connect with Abraham and other channelers or channeled beings.
You know, talking about the law of attraction, how it works, people still don't realize how they can negatively create by attracting those things into their life.
Absolutely. Well, you're always attracting everything. And when someone is in lack or they're in fear or they're coming from a place of being in drama or chaos, and you don't even know you're in it, it's just what you live, it's what you're used to, it's what you're programmed. It's all some people know. But when you get a glimpse, maybe when you're a child, you have your family and that's all you know, and they seem a little insane to you, but you go with it because they're your family and you love them, and you know them and they're familiar like family, and they feed you and you have a place to live and they clothe you and all that. And then you go over your friend's house and it's a totally different thing. The mom and dad actually like each other. Or the siblings are actually respectful to each other, or they have a really nice big backyard and we can run around and play. They have something different. It's contrasting to what I know. And then you start to sort and sift. You start to say, I don't want that. I want more of that. When I have a relationship, when I have a family, you start crafting your own matrix inside of your own mind, inside of your own energy, inside of the connections between you and these pictures, these images that you then start to craft in and form into reality.
Wow, beautiful explanation. And just again, a reminder, we are speaking with the council, a group of beautiful master teachers who come through this beautiful young woman, Christy Whitman. Wow, this is just phenomenal wisdom of the infinite. And I thank you. I honor you for that explanation. It really, really helps me. But I know that all of our listeners and viewers here, it's going to go far beyond what I can even understand. So many people are going to be helped from what you just said. Thank you, Council. Thank you.
It is our deepest pleasure and it is our deepest honor to be with all of you. It is us that is honored because it is all of you that are on the leading edge. It is all of you that are playing the game right now. We would just like to say to all of you, try to enjoy it. Try to have some fun. And remember that you are infinitely loved.
And in episode number 103, I spotlighted perhaps one of the more astounding channels who is simply known now as Oracle Marine, in that 4 of the most prominent and most well-known master teachers come through her: Jesus, Buddha, Kuan Yin, and Mary. I got to speak one-on-one with each master, but here is a sample of what they had to say through her. Well, if you would be so kind, if we could bring in one of the teachers right now, and I was wondering if we might be able to now bring in the goddess of compassion, Kuan Yin. I have a couple questions I'd love to ask her.
Here she comes. Kuan Yin is now coming behind me. She just put her rosary of pearls in my right hand. For those who desire enlightenment, to begin to have opportunities to work on their soul's evolution process. This shift has been given as a gift from Creator It is a gift that we, the ascended masters, as well as the archangels and many other of the highly evolved beings in heaven, wish for the earthlings on your planet to embrace and bestow and take to heart the opportunities that the divine is willing to put before you, so that your journey on earth is one that will lead you to nirvana when your lifetime here on earth concludes. But enlightenment truly is in each individual's hands. They must choose to step forward and step into those doors, those opportunities, and seek where we send the symbols, the messages, the opportunities to help awaken their spiritual senses, their levels of wisdom, how we can help shift their desires away from attachment to the material plane, so that you can achieve the awakening process, which is what is needed and necessary in order for you to continue your growth and ultimately continue to grow out of living life on earth. The enlightened ones on the planet have full awareness that life on earth is a temporary learning experience meant to help the soul grow and evolve.
Very exciting. One other thing I would like to ask you, Buddha, is you've been quoted as saying, "I am awake." Did you really say this, and what exactly did you mean by this?
He wants me to do this. He's right now superimposed over me. He says, yes, he says, I said, I am awake. And then he showed me him looking up at God. He's now saying, when I attained enlightenment, when I achieved the understanding that one must live in a completely pure state with their thoughts. Thoughts control feelings. Feelings control actions. When I received this insight from Creator, I was given the gift of full knowledge of how one can control the outcome of their karmic consequences and blessings, and that the only way to ever live without suffering is to live creating only karmic blessings for yourself, which is the path of living peacefully. When humans behave in any disharmonious ways, they will create the negative karmic consequences, which will then be sent to them in the form of suffering, which means experiences, circumstances in their life will now become painful and negative. I was given enlightenment about why there was suffering on the planet and why there were those who were not suffering. I worked hard and long to attain this level of enlightenment. And it has been my deepest desire to pass my teachings on to all of those who wish to learn from me, as well as to learn how to evolve. Think awake means living your life in the enlightened state.
From all four ascended teachers that have been here coming through Oracle Marine, some of the most peaceful messages I have ever heard, and I feel at a level of peace just hearing it like I haven't in a very long time. Thank you so much. And there you have it. That is the best of channeling here on the World Awakenings podcast. I really hope you enjoyed it. I will, and I do intend to have more trance channels and mediums on the show, because the information and the love that comes through them is beyond compare. So stay tuned for that, and thank you again for tuning in to World Awakenings, the fast track to enlightenment.
This has been another episode of World Awakenings, the fast track to enlightenment with host Carl Gruber, a certified Law of Attraction life coach. We welcome you to tune in to each and every episode of World Awakenings as we open your mind, your heart, and your eyes to the fact that the world's population is now, more than ever, awakening to the truth of all things spiritual, metaphysical, and enlightening, and just how much they play an all-important role in our moment-to-moment daily life. Much love and light to you, my friend, and thank you for tuning into World Awakenings.